What's cracking, Jack? You are in the jungle. NBA action, Sunday, October 26th. We're going to talk about how to make money watching it right here, right now. Greetings, everybody. Welcome back to the show. And if you're joining us for the first time, welcome to the jungle. So here's the deal. It's a super busy weekend in the jungle. It's my wife's and my daughter's birthday weekend. We got reservations at the Lobster. We have some family functions to get to. One of my favorite things that I enjoy doing in this industry with the jungle is breakdowns of every game every day. And we'll be back to that for the NBA tomorrow. But for today's video, I didn't want to leave you guys hanging, but because we're tight on time, I'm going to break down my 3 favorite games of the day and cap those for you with a few different plays in each one of them. And I do have a $5 favorite play of the day. It's a player prop, and it's in the game. I'm not going to cap this game. I'm going to cap 3 other games, but it's in the player props in the game between the Raptors and the Mavericks at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So there's still time to get that depending on what time you're watching this video. It's not in one of the early games. Now, today's video is brought to you by Outlier.bet, the top name in sports betting research, and by MyBookie.ag. So here's the deal. With the growth of the jungle, it's been super fun. We've really grown a lot over the last few months, and last year I considered us like the biggest of the small guys, but now we're kind of the smallest of the big guys. We're playing in varsity, you know what I mean? So I'm getting sponsors reach out to me. And a few different sports books reached out to me, and I selected mybookie.ag because the way it works is you negotiate different deals with them and what they can offer your viewers. And my favorite offer from anyone was for mybookie.ag new signups with the promo code Silverback. So if you go to mybookie.ag, by the way, they're one of the biggest offshore sports books that there is. So I know that a lot of you guys in different states have constraints as to what books you can use, what you can use to bet. But mybookie.ag, no matter where you are in the U.S., you can use them. It's not an app, it's a website. So that behooves you to be able to do that. And they have very competitive lines and prices. Anyways, I digress. Getting back to what they're offering jungle viewers. If you sign up with mybookie.ag using promo code Silverback, your first bet is insured up to $500. What that means is that the first bet you place, if it misses, they'll refund it up to $500. It's a great deal, especially for you guys who've always wanted to bet bigger but were afraid to. You go $300, $400, $500 on a first bet. If it hits, awesome. You win that money. If it doesn't, it's refunded. So mybookie.ag, check them out. The first game of the 3 we're going to look at today, and remember, we'll be back to full slate breakdowns tomorrow. First game today is Brooklyn at San Antonio. The Nets are plus 11.5. The over-under is set at 227.5. Everyone's very excited about Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs. So am I, and we should be. But I'll take the Nets plus 11.5 here. Remember, as good as Victor is, that's baked into this line. Everything is always baked into every line. The Brooklyn Nets have some very good shooters. As long as they're making their shots, they'll keep this game easily within single digits. And one thing about the Spurs, they've struggled to defend the perimeter this season. The Spurs play defense from the rim forward. They give up a lot of three-point shots. They're 23rd in three-point percentage allowed. The Nets have Michael Porter Jr., Cam Thomas, 2 very good perimeter shooters. Just ask the Cleveland Cavaliers. They gave them a scare last game, and they put up 124 points on one of the best defenses in the league. So I like the Nets with the points. I also like Cam Thomas over his points and assist line of 27.5. Dating back to last season, Cam Thompson has a median of 30 points and assists his last 10 games. We talk medians in the jungle, not averages. It's a better indication of what a player normally does. Now, that got better as the season went on as well. You might think about just taking his points, but with D'Angelo Russell gone, Cam runs point exclusively for Brooklyn. And especially with Michael Porter Jr. hovering around the perimeter, his potential assists goes way up. So I like the Nets to stay within that 11.5, and I also like Cam Thomas over 27.5 points and assists. Charlotte at Washington. Hornets are plus 1.5. The over-under is set at 238.5. First of all, I like the over in this game. It's a high over, but you know what we say in the jungle. We take the high totals over, and we take the low totals under. They're high and low for a reason. This one's high because both teams play very quickly. They both are top 5 in the pace in the NBA, and neither team plays a lot of defense. I also like the Wizards minus 1.5 in this game. coming off a big win 2 days ago in Dallas, rested yesterday. Now they're home against the Hornets team on the second day of a road back-to-back, who lost their second best player in Brandon Miller yesterday and lost a heartbreaking game to the Sixers, where they blew a double-digit lead in the fourth quarter. It's a classic letdown spot against a Wizards team that's on the up and up. I also like Wizards shooting guard Keyshawn George over 14.5 points. Most time, you can look back at a player's last season, early on in the year, like we are now. Look back to last season and kind of, use that as a handicap as to what they're going to do early on in this year. But that's not the case with Keyshawn George, because this Wizards team's a lot different, and especially with Jordan Poole gone, okay, Keyshawn's getting a lot more usage, a lot more volume, and he's taking on a really big role in the offense. The veteran players that the Wizards have now, Chris Middleton, C.J. McCollum, they're taking on more of a veteran leadership role and a facilitative role than they are as volume shooters like we're used to from them. Keyshawn George has been the Wizards' biggest volume shooter and has played the most minutes of any Wizard this year in the first 2 games. His first game, he scored 21 against Milwaukee. Last game, he scored 34 against Dallas. He's playing over 33 minutes a game, and he's got heavy shot volume, and he's getting to the foul line. I like the Wizards, and I like Keyshawn George over 14.5 points. I like the total over as well. Never parlay. Those are all individual bets. Pick from that what you like. My favorite is Keyshawn George over the 14.5 points. And the last game we'll look at today is the Knicks at the Heat. Miami is plus 2.5. The over-under is set at 228.5. I like the Heat plus the points at home. It's the Knicks' first road game of the season after 2 big wins over the Celtics and Cavaliers, the 2 best regular season teams last year and the last 2 years in the Eastern Conference. It's a potential classic flat spot for the Knicks from a handicapping standpoint. And this is a Heat team that's very different from the Heat teams that they're used to playing in years past. They're still very good defensively. Any Eric Spoelstra's coach team will be. Miami is 7th in points so far. They're 7th in the league this year in points allowed so far. But the difference is that this Heat team is scoring. They put up 121 in their first game against Orlando. Orlando was arguably the best defensive team in the league. Last year, they had the least amount of points allowed in the association. And they just put up 146 points against Memphis last game. We were on the Heat in both those games. And the scoring's coming from all over. They're playing very good team basketball. There's a lot of parity in their usage. Davion Mitchell, Norman Powell, Bam, Andrew Wiggins, all taking shots. I think this is a good spot to back the Heat with the 2.5 at home. Let's have a day, Jungle Nation. Remember, back to a full slate of capping tomorrow, and I'll see you then with a little more money in your pocket.